Hi, welcome to Dean's Kitchen. My name is Siobhan Ingram and today I'm going to be demonstrating our delicious scone recipe, which we very much hope you're going to be able to try at home. Very simple recipe. If you haven't made your own scones before, we can highly recommend this one. Very simple and very, very tasty. Once we've made our scones, we're going to let them cool and then we're going to turn them into a fabulous cream tea. And we're hoping again that you like to try that at home too. So before we do anything else, we'll get started. So what we've got here in the bowl ready to start is 450 grams of self-raising flour. And into that, I'm going to add just a little pinch of salt, just enough to add a little bit of flavour. And here in this other bowl, we've got some butter, 120 grams. So I'm just going to pop that into the flour. Get it all out. Now the butter I'm using is at room temperature, so it's not too cold, but not too warm either, not too soft. So I'm just going to pop all that into the flour. Get rid of that, and then all you do is you go in with your fingers and start rubbing the flour and the fat together. This takes a little bit of time, a wee bit of patience, but it's worth it because the results are fantastic. Okay, we're just about there. So as you can see, that didn't take too long. So your butter temperature is quite crucial. So again, it's just a wee bit firm, not too soft, not too hard. And that's just the right temperature for rubbing in. So as you can see, we've now got quite a nice even mix of flour and butter. So as you can see, we've got our butter and flour with our little pinch of salt all nicely rubbed together and looking just like fine sort of breadcrumbs. So that's the effect that you're looking for. And then into that, we're going to add 60 grams of castor sugar. And we've got 3 teaspoons of baking powder. Now you might think that's quite a lot because obviously we're using self-raising flour. But that's what gives you the really nice lift and gives you a really nice light scone, and all the sort of the taste of the baking powder, if you like, bakes out. So don't worry about the fact that you might taste the baking powder. You don't taste it at all. It just produces lots of air in the mix and then disappears. So 3 teaspoons seems a lot, but that's what you need to get a really nice light result. Okay, so we mix that through. And then we need some liquid to bring all this together. So what we've got already weighed out and measured out here is 2 nice free-range eggs, which we've beaten in the jug with a fork. And then what I'm going to do is make that up to about 300 mils of liquid altogether with some milk. So I've got some nice fresh milk here. So 300 mils approximately. There we go. And we'll mix that together. And that is the liquid that we need to make our scone dough. Okay, so here we are, 300 mils approximately. Make a bit of a hole in the centre and pour in most of it. So we're going to just keep a little bit back just in case, because flour varies and sometimes you need a little bit more milk than other times, and your fat temperature sometimes affects how much liquid you need as well. So we may not need all of it, but we'll see how we go. Now the other important thing to remember when you're making scones is to be quite gentle in the way that you handle it. It's not like a bread dough, so it doesn't need a lot of handling and a lot of kneading. In fact, the less handling it gets, the better, because that ensures a nice light result. Too much mixing and handling makes them a little bit tough, which you really don't want. You want something nice and light. A bit of flour on the worktop, just to stop it sticking. And then we're just going to tumble this out. As you can see, it's a little bit dry in the bottom, but we're just going to mix this together. So that's our scone dough made. We've tipped it out onto our nice floured worktop. I'm just going to flour my hands lightly and flour the top of the dough as well. And just, as you can see, very lightly work this into a nice round piece that we can roll out and cut into our scone. So as you can see, I'm handling it very lightly, just keeping my hands floured, just to stop them sticking. Once we're ready, we can bring in the rolling pin. And again, just flour my hands and flour the rolling pin. And then again, very lightly roll it out. You really don't want to put too much pressure on it at all. And the other thing you've always got to be careful of with a scone mix is that you don't roll it out too thinly, because we want it to be about 2 centimetres, 2.5 centimetres, about 1 inch or so thick. So we're going to use our cutter, cut out our scones, and then just lift them very gently onto a baking tray. So as I mentioned, you don't want to twist the cutter. You just want to put it straight in and out, because if you twist the cutter like this, you end up with misshapen scones, and we want ones that are nice and risen and straight edges. We want them to look pretty. Okay, so just keep going until you've used up all the dough. So just cut one more, and that'll be our tray finished, and that's our scones ready to go into the oven. Okay, so we've got our scones ready to go in the oven. Nice hot oven. This is a fan oven, electric, and we've set it to about 220 degrees centigrade, so it's really nice and hot. And you need that heat to get all the baking powder working and get a really nice lift on your scones. So we're going to pop them in the oven now. Nice and hot, as I say. And we're going to leave them in there for about 10 to 12 minutes until they're nicely risen and nice and golden brown. So 12 minutes is up and our scones are smelling fabulous. There's a wonderful smell in the kitchen. I wish I could share that with you, but it's a beautiful smell and they're lovely and brown and risen, and we're going to take them out. But before we do, I'm just going to show you how I'm going to cool them. I've got a nice wire rack here with a clean tea towel on top, and we're going to cool them under the tea towel just to keep them nice and soft. So let me show you the scones. Wow, they look good. Just pop that back up. Okay, so we've got our scones nicely baked, and we're just going to pop them onto the clean towel on the wire rack. And it's a wee old-fashioned kind of thing to do, actually, I think, to cool things like this, but it does give you a really nice soft crust on your scone rather than, you know, a hard crisp edge. So we'll pop them all on here. Find a little space for this last one. Perfect. Okay, and, sorry, get rid of that tray, and then just cover them over, and then we're going to leave them to cool, and we're going to come back in a few minutes once they're cool, and we're going to make a fabulous cream tea. Okay, so we have our scones now beautifully baked and completely cooled, and we're going to turn them into a fabulous cream tea. So it's amazing how you can transform the humble scone into something with the wow factor. And this is the point when all your friends and family come running into the kitchen to see what you're up to, and will be highly impressed, I think, when they see what you've made. So we've got our scones, as I say, nicely cooled. What I'm going to do now is just take one, show you what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to break it open, like so. Okay, so nicely baked and beautifully light and airy in the inside. And we're going to make into a cream tea, as I mentioned already. So first of all, in my pot here, I've got some beautiful strawberry jam. So I'm going to pop some of that on the base of the scone first of all. Be nice and generous with your jam and your cream. Okay, so that's the jam. And then in this bowl here, I've got some fabulous whipped creams. This is lovely double cream, just whipped until it's just holding its shape and no more. So I'm going to take a spoonful of this. I'm going to pop that on top of the scone as well. Okay, and then the crowning glory is this fabulous bowl of strawberries here, and it's soft fruit season in Scotland right now, so the best, absolute best soft fruits you can get anywhere in the world are definitely grown in Scotland. It's a very short season, so we absolutely have to make the most of it. So we're going to take some strawberries and take one nice one here that I've got, and I'm just going to slice through it. Beautifully juicy strawberries, they just are to die for right now. So I'm slicing through, and I'm just going to sit that on the top like so. So how fabulous does that look? Wonderful fresh scone with strawberry and cream and jam, and we're just going to pop the lid onto here and then transfer it over to our serving plate like so. And then to finish, just to make it very pretty, we're going to add just a dusting of sugar, and we've got some extra strawberries on the plate there. So I mean, wow, how amazing. Just such a simple scone recipe, and we have absolutely transformed this into a wonderful cream tea. So please try this at home. As you can see, it's very, very easy, very quick, and you'll be able to impress your friends with this recipe. And if you do try it, let us know that you've tried it. We'd love to see how you get on, and if you can post your photos and your comments on our Facebook page, that would be fabulous.